Come on in, come on in, come on in. All geeks are welcome in this space. Let's learn together and seek his face. I'm Lem Philyaw, aka Bad Gamer Elite, your host for the Sound Maiden podcast, sponsored by LifePromotions.org. God, Games, and Geekery gives us an opportunity every Tuesday to chat about the crossroads of our passions and our faith. I can't wait to learn and discuss with you. Guys, this is the 44th episode and the second format changed episode. I'm so excited. Guys, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, LifeFest Music City, going on in Bon Aqua, Tennessee at the Hideaway Farm, July 29th through the 31st. Go to lifefest.com for details, and I would love to see you there. Absolutely would love to meet you in person, like real life stuff. Be dope. Promises a high five. I can't promise that I won't put like hand sanitizer on right after, but I definitely promise high fives. So, guys, what's been going on this month? Well, I have been playing a lot of Fortnite. I'm still playing Fortnite. Some of you are like, are you not done with that game? No, I'm not. And I won't be for a while, because if you remember last month's episode, I said they have gone primal. They need to add Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn into this. And I think that Epic Games listens to our podcast because they added Aloy to the game. Now I know they don't, but let me just believe that, please. Can I just believe that? All right, because that's what's going on. I'm gonna believe that. All right. They also added a new Harley Quinn outfit to it. It's really dope. And I'm excited that you could only get it through this comic book. You had to get the special comic book and get a code, and there were a limited number of them, and it was like that whole Mad Dash deal. Oh man! So my buddy Bill was able to get me the comic, and I got the Harley skin, and it's fantastic. It's glorious. It's beautiful. I dig it. What else have I been doing this month? Well, I've been digging into that backlog. And really, I've been concentrating on a lot of PC games. I started with Gris, which was a beautiful story about loss and grieving and going through that grieving process. It was and it was beautiful. It was. I'm not usually that guy that gets into the deeper games, but this was good, you guys. So that got me started on these, indier games. Now, I don't know if they're actual indie studios, but, they're not like the big AAA games. So Aer, A-E-R, that one, I started playing that, and I've been really getting into that. And then I found this one game called Lost Ember. Yo, if you just do yourself a favor after the podcast, as a matter of fact, no, pause the podcast right here after looking up Lost Ember. You come back, and I'll be ranting about it. Okay. So, guys, Lost Ember, I love it. You're able to you show up as this. You show up as a spirit of some sort, like a little glowing light, and then you're not, because the glowing spirit is actually is actually someone that's there to help you, and you can actually turn into different animals. So you start off as this wolf, and then you can meld into other animals that are around. And then I turned into a wombat or wallaby. I think it was a wallaby. No, a wombat. I don't know. But it was adorable. And I was rolling around, and it was so cool. So check it out, Lost Ember. I'm barely into the game, but I've turned into a wolf, a duck, a hummingbird, and a wombat. And I know there's more. Look it up, Lost Ember. And then I'm also diving back into, on the PC, Disney Infinity. And I forgot how wonderful and frustrating that game is. Disney Infinity starts off, there is the Incredibles, Toy Story, Monsters University, Cars, Lone Ranger, Pirates of the Caribbean. I believe that's it, and I've done 3 of them already. I'm working on right now Lone Ranger, the Lone Ranger story, and that it's not the most action packed, but it's actually a pretty relaxing kind of cool one. So yeah, the Lone Ranger in Disney Infinity has been a lot of fun, and then probably the highlight of my month, I got to be a representative, a PlayStation partner streamer. So one of the representatives from PlayStation, from Bend Studios, who is part of PlayStation Games, contacted me and said, we'd love for you to play Days Gone on a stream for us for this 2-year anniversary of our game. And they knew that I'm a gametographer. And they were like, we want you to take photos. We want you to have fun. We know that you get freaked out. We've seen your streams. We know you get freaked out by scary stuff. So we want you to play it. So that's what I did, you guys. It was a blast. And I had a lot of fun. I took some photos. I'm Bad Gamer Elite on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to take a look at those, they're on my personal account, because for God Games and Geekery, we don't play mature games. And even when I am taking photos, I am pretty respectful about what kind of photos I post. So, yeah. So I did some gametography in Days Gone. I've done some in Fortnite. Horizon Zero Dawn, I've been back into doing that as well. So gaming-wise, I've been pretty busy. Again, reading, though, I haven't been doing a lot of reading. It's a little disappointing. Even my audiobooks I've slacked off on. I did, however, read the Batman comic that I got my Harley Quinn code from, and that's a really cool story. It's a really good story. I'm intrigued, and I'm not a DC guy, but I am intrigued by this story. I also started reading X-Men all over again, not from the early Uncanny X-Men, but from the early 90s X-Men re-release. So that's going to be an interesting read to go back through. I've got decades of X-Men comics to read through, so I'll have some crossover stuff that I'll have to jump into X-Force and Generation X4 and Cable. Probably grab some Spider-Man in there, because I know that all of those get intertwined. So I'm pretty excited to get back into reading some comics. What else have I been doing, though? Again, learning the TikToks. I've been having a blast. Learning so much about TikTok. Learning so much from TikTok. And as of right now, my personal numbers since the last check-in have gone up. I'm at 450 personal followers, and I'm taking what I learned from personal TikTok, and I'm going to be transferring that over to the God Games and Geekery TikTok. If you're not already on TikTok, if you're on TikTok and you're not already following God Games and Geekery, God Games Geekery over on TikTok, check it out. What else happened this month? Oh yeah, I got my COVID shots. And my first one, my arm just, it felt a little sore. It wasn't bad. I had my second one last Friday, and that was in the morning. Friday evening, I was down. Saturday, I was out all day, guys. Seriously. Chills and shakes and all that good stuff. But that just let me know that it was working. Sunday, woke up and felt a little bit better. By the end of the day, I was fine on Sunday. That was so good that I felt a lot better. And we talked about bullet journaling. Guys, the bullet journaling, I've slacked off, but I'm using those still using those skills to get stuff done. It's been very helpful. I do need to jump back into it as with both feet. But things are getting done and completed well, better than they have before. Again, I am undiagnosed, but probably to be pretty sure ADHD, and I've been taking things into account to help me with that, help me focus at work, help me help others understand what's going on, and help me help others to help me. Let's see, guys. It's April. It's still April as of recording. It's still Easter month, guys, and I always like to think of Easter month as 3-day respawn month. Now, some of you guys are like, wait, 3-day respawn? Wasn't that group online that there was a Christian group of gamers online called 3-day respawn? And yes, they still are around, guys. Hopefully they're listening. I don't know if you guys are there, but if you go to 3dayrespawn.com, go check them out. It's the number 3dayrespawn.com. God Gaming and Community. They've got a Discord. They're doing tournaments. Go check them out. They're such a lovely group. They're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Go check them out. Hamdog, Matmo, Disciple, Baldwin. Yo, go check them all out, you guys. Yes, I did just read them off of the website. Eldarin67, I see you. Guys, go check them out, and I will see you in their Discord. No, they are not a sponsor. I just love these guys. These guys were my first ever introduction to anything with God, games, and geekery. So I wanted to give them a shout out today. But yeah, so respawn. So we're talking about 3-day respawns for Easter, and I got the chance to sit down with the director of Life Fest Music City and Life Fest Oshkosh, John Doherty, to talk about that 3-day respawn. And we are back with John. Oh my goodness. John freaking Doherty, everybody. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me?
Hey, buddy, how you doing? I finally get to be on G3, man. This is great.
Yo, all right. So for those of you who don't know, John is the man with the plan around here at Life Promotions. He has his hands and fingers in pretty much everything. But why don't you tell everybody what you do at Life Promotions, John?
So I've worked here at Life for 15 years. I started out actually as one of Bob's road managers. So I've traveled with him all over the country, been to almost all 50 states with Bob, doing the school programs that we do, doing the Quakes that we do, doing all of those types of things. And recently I am now the festival director. I've been the festival director for Life Fest for the last 6 years. And we are starting our new festival in Tennessee. So we're going to be at Life Fest Music City this year. So we'll have two festivals. We'll have two festivals in the summer. So we're excited to have both of those opportunities, as well as...
He still has his hair, people.
I do.
He still has his hair.
It's a little grayer now that it used to be. But yeah, it's still there.
Oh, man. Now, for those of you who, might know John in a passing manner, you might not know how much of a geek John is.
So,
but
yeah,
because I didn't when I first started working here. I know John as the guy that tells me where to go to take photos at the at the festivals. But why don't you tell him about your geekiness, man?
So I kind of grew up, obviously with a love of video games and doing playing games. Never really considered myself a gamer, but definitely did spend a lot of time playing Super Mario back in the day. My record run is about 5.5 minutes. I know the record is like 4 minutes and like 50 some seconds, but
wow,
I can get through it in about 5.5 minutes. And then, but I've always been like a PlayStation guy. I've always done the Madden thing, which, come to find out, I guess I really am a gamer, but I'm also a comic book geek. Like the Frank Miller's Year One with Batman and stuff. Like I've got those, I've got those comics. I've got them in the sleeves and the protective sleeves at home. And pulled them out so my 13-year-old can listen to them, or not listen to them, can read them. So I've been a huge Batman fan, huge DC fan. Love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Love, definitely love some Iron Man, the OG, as it were. I'm definitely a Mark Ruffalo fan, but Edward Norton killed it in the Incredible Hulk movie.
Yes.
So I've always kind of been, I don't want to say a closet geek, like that's not even fair.
Well, your closet is full of geeky.
My closet is full of geeky stuff. I get Loot Crate. I don't know if y'all know.
No,
what
I'm not
that
wearing
is,
it. Oh man.
But they send you geeky stuff every month, geeky t-shirts, and I've got a plethora of Batman t-shirts and Star Wars t-shirts, and I don't even start on the Star Wars thing, man. Like I love I love Star Wars, I love Star Trek, I love a lot of geeky stuff, and I'm just excited that we get to do this and talk about it, and yeah.
Yeah, I got to tell you guys, John has so much geeky stuff. He's such a geek. He walked into my office the other day and he said, "Hey, you want this? It's a Harley Quinn hat. Of course I want it." He's got so much geek. He's just giving stuff away. I love it.
Well, I knew you'd appreciate it a lot more than I did. You rock hats really well. Like you can pull off a hat. It's also a black hat, which looks great. You definitely pull that off all the time. And then, of course, it had the little Harley Quinn on the front, and it had the big mallet on the back. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
It was a fun hat to begin with.
So John also games with us every now and then. We like to play a little bit of Fortnite, and this month we're talking about revives / respawns. And so I was just wondering, John, can you tell us about your favorite either respawn moment or game that you respawn in, or what's that look like for you?
So I love Fortnite. I found that it's a fun game. It's just a great way to blow off steam, so to speak. In the evenings and stuff after the kids go to bed. Go around and shoot some people. Not obviously. We'll have to cut that. No. But I just love, I do like playing some Fortnite. I like the whole concept of it, the team, but I love the squads, right? I like getting together. Yeah. What is it? The Team Rumble format.
Yes.
Because then you get to respawn, right? It's not just one and done, because otherwise I'm all like nervous and I'm like, kind of sneaking around, and you kind of have to bide your time until the end, and then you try to find the one guy and take him out and the whole deal.
Yeah.
But the Team Rumble is fun because you can just be more aggressive and you can jump around and just have more fun with the game because you're gonna die and then come back. And so I do enjoy that. Fortnite though, they kind of drop you in, you parachute in, you can kind of go where you want.
Yeah.
Occasionally though, somebody finds you instantly, like as you're landing. People are just clay shooting with you as you're coming down. They're taking you out while you're still parachuting. That's always frustrating. But the funniest respawn moment that I have, though, actually, we play. We got a Switch for Christmas. We got my family a Switch for Christmas, and we got Super Smash Brothers. And like seeing my kids play the Smash, they love it and they have a good time with it. And I always have like the goofy respawns where like I'll drop in and then like the Sonic, like the floor will just disappear and you'll just drop. Come on, I hate that.
Yeah, man.
Or where it's, they got some of those levels that kind of fly around and take off, and man, you'll drop in and you'll just be like, where am I? What? And then the two youngest kids I have, they love to like just put like all 8 characters on the screen. So there's like, it's like 2 of us and like 6 computer players. You just have no idea what's going on. It's crazy when you see all that happening. So
that's awesome. Now this month we're talking about the ultimate respawn, the 3-day respawn, if you will.
Yeah.
Of Jesus. How is that? Because Easter just passed earlier this month. How has that 3-day respawn affected or infected, hopefully even, your life?
Well, let's go to Webster really quick, because Webster says when asked what a respawn means, It means a character or other online game. We can take that out. To be given another life after dying is the definition of respawn, right? So, like, isn't that what faith is? What Christianity is? Like, you know, you you obviously Jesus passed, right? And it was a sad, we call it Good Friday, right? Like, it's kind of backwards, right? Like, it's Good Friday. What they just whipped and killed our Savior. Like, so what were the disciples thinking in that moment? And then of course the not having the faith. I mean, to be Peter in that moment, to see, him be told, you're gonna not deny me 3 times, right? And him going, no, I'll never leave you. And how often do we do that? And obviously not to that level, right? Like, we're not persecuted here in the States. Not saying that other countries aren't, but here in the U.S., we're not persecuted. We're not under fear of death, that someone's going to kill us for our faith. But to be those original disciples and to be the early church Christians, to know that your faith is in Jesus and know that there's this life after death that we're expecting. But to have that happen where, you deny the Savior, not only your friend, but your Savior 3 times, and he told you were going to do it, right? I find that we do that all the time, right? Like, not necessarily in the gaming world or in the, necessarily just in those areas, but the number of times where, maybe you don't live out your faith. Maybe you don't do the Christian thing every time when you should, right? I mean, like, how often do you pass the lady on the side of the street and then there's that little voice in your head that says, oh man, you should have helped her with this, or you should have opened a door. So in the Christian world, we deny our Savior, but there's obviously that hope that the resurrection, gives us, with the fact that Jesus comes back after 3 days. Well, ultimately, when thinking about the resurrection or the respawn, as it were, for Jesus, there's that window of time, obviously, where we have Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, Saturday, and then Easter Sunday. And there's that time of mourning, and there's that time of darkness where we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. And I don't want to say much like when you're respawning and are you gonna drop down the pit in the Sonic level? What's going to happen to you there? But to have that moment of darkness, I think we all walk through that, right? We all walk through doubt. We all walk through despair. We all walk through, the doubting Thomas, right? I mean, how many times can we be doubting Thomas in our own lives, man? Every day, I think, I go, oh my gosh, man, I got to see Jesus to believe, or I got to see this, or, Jesus, if you, how many times have you said this phrase? Maybe not out loud, but in your head, God, if you love me, you'll let me ace this test. Or God, if you love me, you're going to get me to work on time. And the flip side of that is true, right? Like, I don't go, man, I got an A on my test. God must love me, or whatever. But, you see sports figures do that. You see different people do that, where they, I want to thank God for letting me win this boxing match. And what does that mean for the other guy, right? Like, God didn't want him to win the boxing match. He was like, I'm sorry, you're going to lose. And we have that moment of doubt and despair. And yet Easter gives us that hope, right?
Yeah.
Because Jesus was crucified and died. He was buried. 3 days later, they roll the stone away, and this little Easter bunny hops out and gives you chocolate. Right? Isn't that how that works? No, that's not how that works. I'm not saying I don't like the chocolate, but the fact that 3 days later he rose again from the dead. I mean, that hands down, that's the ultimate respawn, right? Like, you look at a game, because at the end of the day, you go over and you turn your console off, or you turn your computer off, and you quit the game and you walk away. But in life, and in real life, you can never have to turn the game off, and you can always have a chance to respawn. You can always have that chance to keep moving forward and to keep going deeper in life and to keep going deeper into your faith. But you always have a savior that's there. And no matter how much you screw up, no matter how many times you Leroy Jenkins it and go diving into the room, you're always going to be able to go back to Christ, and he's always going to forgive you, and he's always going to be there for you, and you're always going to get another chance with him. You're always going to get another one up, you know? It's just the miracle of Easter shouldn't be one day. You should celebrate the miracle of Easter every single day of your life. Every single time you get another chance to continue walking down this game that we play called life.
Yeah, man.
You should be celebrating the Easter story.
And John will be taking over God Games and Geekery from now on.
No. This is a one-off, man. This is a one-off.
Hey, John, if people wanted to get a hold of you somehow, like if they want to find you on social media or get in contact with you somehow, how can they do that?
You can always hit me up here at the office at Life Promotions. That's about it. Like I'm on Twitter, I think, right? Like if I post something on Facebook, it hits Twitter.
Oh my goodness. No,
maybe. Or is that Instagram? It always goes on my Instagram, right? Like the two are connected.
Yeah. Instagram and Facebook. Yeah.
I'm not a social media guy. I'll do the family pictures and stuff, but that's about it. I don't really do a whole lot of interaction there on the socials.
If they wanted to get a hold of John, and if you want to get a hold of John, contact Life Fest on any of the social medias.
There it is.
John will get the message.
I have a Life Fest Facebook page, so I can run the Life Fest Facebook page. That's why I have a Facebook page. And occasionally my wife tags me on things. That's how the kid pictures show up. I don't do a whole lot of posting on stuff. So
nice. And you can also find him occasionally playing with us on God Games and Geekery Thursdays.
There it is. I'm Radar 9722 on PlayStation. That's the.
There you go. Radar
9722.
9722. Hit him up. But if you friend him on PlayStation, you have to say where you know him from, or else he probably won't accept the friend request.
Yeah, I have like 4 friends on Facebook. It's you and Lucas and Micah and my kid. That's the 4.
There it is. Hey, John, thanks a lot for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
Lem, it's a pleasure as always. And we'll have to do this again sometime.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also wash your hands. Oh, man. I love getting a chance to hear Johnny preach. And he'll tell you he's not preaching, but you know he is. Man. Guys, I want to read from Mark chapter 5, the book of Mark chapter 5, verses 21 to 43. Now, when Jesus had again crossed over by boat to the other side of the lake, a large crowd gathered around him while he was by the lake. Then one of the synagogue leaders named Jairus came, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet. He pleaded earnestly with him, "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live." So Jesus went with him. A large crowd followed and pressed around him. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Immediately, her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once, Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see, the people were crowding against you," his disciples answered, "and yet you ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace, be freed from your suffering." While Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. "Your daughter is dead," they said. "Why bother the teacher anymore?" Overhearing what they said, Jesus told him, "Don't be afraid, just believe." He didn't let anyone follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they came home to the synagogue, when they came to the home of the synagogue leader, Jesus saw a commotion with people crying and wailing loudly. He went in and said to them, Why all this commotion and wailing? The child is not dead, but asleep." But they laughed at him. After he put them all out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with him and went to where the child was. He took her by the hand and said to her, "Talitha koum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old. At this, they were completely astonished. He gave strict orders not to let anyone know about this and told them to give her something to eat. Guys, around this time of year, Easter, although candy and eggs are great loot drops, the amazing respawn and resurrection of Jesus is the reason for our celebration. Now, through him, although we die to our sin daily, we can be respawned by his grace. And not only that, just like in Fortnite, we can be rezzed, we can be respawned, even when we are feeling down, when we know we are not complete. Jesus is there. All we have to do is reach out, call to him, touch him, and believe. And he can resurrect our lives. So my question for you guys is, how are you going to ask Jesus to respawn you this month? You can let us know. Let us know. You can contact us in many different ways, guys. We're on Twitter as God Games Geekery. We are on TikTok as God Games Geekery. Insta as God Games Geekery. God Games Geekery. And we're on Twitch. Guys, you can find us every Thursday on Twitch, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time. God Games and Geekery. You got to spell that one out. And right now we're partnering with the Quake Youth Ministry, Quake Youth Outreach. We're doing Facebook Lives with them. So keep an eye out for that to let you know when we're going to be doing that. And if you can, if you have the availability, if you have the ability, why don't you rate us and write a review? It's such a good time to hang with you guys. I look forward to it every month. Thanks for being here. Remember, you are geeky, you are loved. Peace.